You probably thought gold was the safe, slow burning that outgrows everything in a crisis. Turns out, in 2025, a handful of pistols have been climbing faster than bullion, and folks who bought early are sitting on real profits. I'm Luke from line 4-5, and in the next 10 minutes, I'll show you 7 pistols that are beating gold, which ones to buy now, and where the real money's hiding. Before we dive in, do me a solid, smash that subscribe, tap the bell, hit all the dang buttons down there. You don't gotta, but it keeps this train rolling and lets me crank out more of this wild gun talk for y'all. Alright, enough of that. Let's get back to it. H&K P7 family. PSP, P7 M8, P7 M13. I'm starting with the P7 because the numbers make sense, not because of hype. Production ended years ago, supply is fixed, and collector demand quietly climbed all year. Clean P7 M8s are routinely listed and sold in the mid 4 seconds to low 6 seconds, with P7 M13s pushing higher when they're complete and mint. That's a bigger lift than most modern pistols, and in a bunch of recent comps, it has moved faster than gold. Scarcity plus provenance is doing the work here. Here's why it holds. Unique gas, delayed blowback, squeeze cocker, super low bore axis, and German police history. The early PSP heel-release guns still have a lane, but the American-style mags on M8 and higher capacity on M13 pull the strongest premiums. Original finish, matching box, tools, and mags add real money. Police trades with import marks are fine if the finish is honest and the mechanics are tight. I check slide rails for peening, gas cylinder fouling, and the heat shield on M8s. My buy rules are simple. I pay for condition and completeness, not stories. Unmolested factory finish beats refinish every time. I verify the serial, test target, and manual, and I count the magazines because factory mags are pricey and push resale. Trigicon or Mepro night sights usually need replacement at this age, so I budget for that rather than letting it surprise me later. If you want a target, bet on Mint M8s with a box and 2 mags. Those have the most liquid market. The M13 is the grail, but only if it is clean and fully documented. Sig P226 X5 and the new reserve runs. I'm putting the German X5 and the new reserve X5 in the same bucket because the market is doing that anyway. The old master's shop in Eckernförde closed in 2020, so true German X5s and X6s are finite. That scarcity pushed clean master shop guns into the $3,000 to $5,000 zone, depending on variant, and certain X6 configurations sit around $5,000 new on tracker sites. That's real appreciation driven by supply getting cut off. What about the modern Reserve X5 from Sig's limited reserve collection? Sig confirms fewer than 3,000 made, launched for the P226's 40th year, with a high-polished DLC finish, gridlock panels, comped slide, and an adjustable trigger. Collector behavior followed the spec sheet. Compiled gunbroker sells put the mean right around 4.1 grand, with a span from the mid-2s to the low 6s depending on configuration and completeness. Bet those will keep floating if inventory stays tight. How do I buy them? First, I separate Masters Germany from the Polymer X5 Legion clones. The Legion lives closer to 2 grand new and doesn't pull the same collector premium. Second, I pay for full kits. Box, docks, test target, and 2 mags move the needle on both the older Master Shop steel guns and the Reserve Limiteds. Third, I confirm original finish and roll marks, since refinished or swapped parts will tax resale. Targets. For a long hold, a documented Masters X5 or X6 in factory trim. For a shorter flip, a Reserve X5 under 4 grand with full kit. I track sold comps, not asks, and I avoid rough shooters unless they're priced to move. No cap, condition, and completeness are what make these outrun the pack. Laugo arms, Alien limited runs. The Alien is here because the pricing data is clear. The Creator Evolution full kit sits around 5 to 6 grand on the official store, with the optic and retro kits a bit lower. The USA 500 limited edition was a $7,000 run, and it sold through. The black and gold editions list in the 6 to 1,000 range when available, and some EU dealers post around 6,000 euros when they get stock. On the open market, standard and retro variants show up near 4 to 5 grand, which gives you a floor. That spread tells me limited Alien trims are acting like a luxury microcap. Scarcity and brand heat are doing the heavy lifting. Why collectors keep paying up? The Alien keeps the barrel and sight rail fixed while the slide rides low, so your optic or irons do not reciprocate. That design cuts sight disturbance and recoil impulse, which is why competition shooters chased the early runs. Laugo then layered scarcity on top of performance. The USA 500 and small numbered black and gold drops are exactly the type of supply constraint that moves price. When the manufacturer posts a limited count and Mark slides with 1 of 500, the resale math gets simple. How do I buy? First, I chase numbered or clearly limited runs with the full kit, extra top strap, and the Laugo red dot included. Second, I verify the serial format and edition markings against the product pages and spec sheets. Third, I set a hard ceiling based on the official store price and walk away from wild asks. Colt Python originals and scarce elites. I chase original Pythons because the price history is documented and the supply is capped. Rock Island's write-up shows the first Python Elite, serial PE 00001, hammered at about 15 grand in December 2024, and matched Snake Eyes sets cleared above 30 grand. Regularly cleaned 1,960 seconds to 1,980 seconds, blued guns with boxes sit in the 3 to low 4,000 range on dealer sites and auction archives, while run-of-the-mill shooters land lower. The new production, Pythons are solid guns, but they transact closer to retail and don't command the same collector premium. What I look for is factory finish, sharp roll marks, and complete kits. Lettered guns with original walnut target stocks, papers, and unturned cylinders bring a premium and move faster when you go to sell. 4-inch and 6-inch barrels are the most liquid. Refinish knocks value hard, and part swaps kill it. I check timing and lockup, verify the crane and frame stamping, and inspect the muzzle crown. If the box is present, I confirm the label matches the serial and configuration. That boring homework is what protects the upside. My buy targets are straightforward. A mint, 4-inch or 6-inch royal blue with a box in the low to mid threes is a green light. Special runs like the Elite can make bigger jumps, but only if the provenance is tight. I use sold comps from Ryak and recent gunbroker results to set ceilings and ignore wild ask prices. Bet on condition and completeness. That combo is what keeps original Pythons pacing, and sometimes beating, 2025's bullion pop. Smith & Wesson Performance Center, 952. Collectors who know their steel guns keep an eye on the 952 because it's one of the last true hand-fitted target pistols Smith & Wesson ever produced. Built in the Performance Center during the 3rd Gen era, it's tuned like a bullseye gun but chambered in 9mm. The latter 952 to 2 long slide is where prices have been moving the fastest, landing in the $1,800 to $2,500 range depending on condition and accessories. A few pristine examples have cracked well past that number this year, especially with test targets and factory cases intact. That's a healthy jump compared to just a few years ago, when shooters were snagging them around $1,400. Every part of the 952 shows why it's holding value. The trigger is crisp, the barrel is match grade with a bushing, and the slide-to-frame fit feels like a custom shop 1911. It's insanely accurate with quality ammo and runs soft because of its all-steel weight and balanced recoil spring system. On the used market, it appeals to 2 camps. To both serious shooters who appreciate craftsmanship and investors chasing low production, all-metal classics that manufacturers no longer make. Buying one means paying attention to details. The original Performance Center case, manual, and test target separate a collectible from just a used gun. Factory mags are pricey and hard to find, so those matter too. Finish originality is key, since refinished pistols lose collector value fast. Landing a clean 952 to 2 long slide with its full kit under $2,400 right now is a solid play. Beretta 92 Billennium and limited LTT builds. Billennium sits on a real scarcity base. Beretta produced roughly 2,000 units to mark the millennium, all steel with a satin nickel alloy finish, carbon fiber style grips, and single-action internals. Multiple references put production in 2001, with reports that about half reached the US. Prices show collector traction. Rock Island's public notes include a Billennium sale at about $5,875, and current auction asks commonly cite the 2,000-unit cap. A recent gunbroker listing even claims only 1,000 US imports. That kind of supply choke explains why clean, complete examples keep clearing well above base 92 seconds. The buy box is simple. Go after factory finish, matching case and papers, and correct mags. Verify the SAO trigger and the distinct Billennium markings. Check for slide or frame refinish, since that drags resale. Barrel crown, locking block wear, and rear sight condition matter on these. And a Proof Mark 2001 gun with its kit moves faster when it is time to sell. Bet on documented examples over story guns. Langdon Tactical Limited 92 seconds round out this slot for a more affordable play that still outperforms standard 92 seconds on resale. The Elite LTT and LTT RDO packages typically list around 1 to 1,300 brand new direct from LTT, and special runs or limited finishes hold premiums versus vanilla 92 FS pricing. The H&K Mark II 3-color variants and complex kits, Mark 23 pricing holds because the story is concrete. Built for US SOCOM in the 1,990 seconds as the offensive handgun weapon system, the civilian gun keeps the match trigger, O-ring barrel, and threaded muzzle. Current retail on new runs typically sits in the low to mid 2000s, with used guns settling a bit lower if they're shooter grade. Limited colorways like OD Green and FDE push higher when boxed and unfired. That spread has been steady through 2025, while a lot of polymer duty pistols stayed flat. Bet on clean examples with the right accessories, because completeness moves this model. What matters on inspection is simple and objective. Date code and serial should match the case label. The factory case, manual, 2 mags, and thread protector signal a stronger resale later. Night sights on older guns are usually dim, so plan for replacements rather than letting that surprise you. The barrel O-ring should be intact and snug, the recoil assembly should return to battery crisply, and the slide should show honest edge wear, not refinished. A correctly German-marked slide with the proper importer roll marks gets more attention from collectors. Use cases keep demand alive. Suppressor ready out of the box, soft recoil for a .45, and ridiculous durability by design testing standards. This is a big pistol, so buyers are either enthusiasts who want the SOCOM lineage or investors who track limited finishes. Landing an OD or FDE kit in new condition at a sane number has been a safe place to park cash. From experience, that combo has outperformed base, 45 seconds, and kept pace with 2025's hotter collectibles. These are not Billennium level collectibles, but the Delta over base models has been sticky because the tuning and optics-ready slides hit what shooters want. Completeness still pays here too. Full build, extra mags, and the RDO slide keep liquidity tight when you post it back to the market.